Right, so let's go into the AI assistants, positives and negatives of the future and where this is going. Now, I want to cover something that's a little bit touchy subject, so if you guys do not like things to do with babies and surveillance, etc., then let me know. Don't watch this, just skip over it. Okay, so this is important because of the next generations. Now, maybe some of you guys are in your like 10s to 30s, etc., but you need to know at some point you're most likely going to have kids, whether that's with a robot or whether that's with people, you're most likely going to have kids. So let's look at it in terms of parents and kids and the next generations going forward for all of us with AI assistants. Now, this may be a good thing, but may be very, very bad. And I'm going to go through the good points as well as the bad points for an AI assistant that literally sees you from birth all the way till now. So our unfair advantage that we have right now as the creators of AI is the fact that we can control it and dictate how it learns and how the AI goes forward towards the future in the household, as well as in the education system, as well as the political system, as well as in the real world. You guys know what I was talking about when it comes to robots and war and everything in between, right? Fashion, trends, IG, glamour, everything in between. Okay, so let's get away from that because, again, this is kind of bad in a very big way, and I wasn't sure how to actually explain this to you guys. Because it scares me in a very real way as well. It's almost like having a butler, you could say a butler, that's kind of with your family, much like, you know, Bruce Wayne has a butler that's with him 24/7, but having it throughout your life in a way where it's so sensitively looking at every single moment of your life that it tries to dictate what you need to meet your needs, wants, desires, and everything in between as you grow up over time. Now, that may seem like a good thing. You think about like a 2-year-old who has an iPad, who's swiping left and right on these Coco Melon videos, etc. It might sound like a good thing because it's like, you've got the AI assistant always watching you 24/7 through the infrastructure that's around the house. But this is also a very damaging thing and also a very bad thing in many ways, because not just the fact that humans have this tendency for greed, especially when you're like 2 years old, etc., right? Everything's kind of about you, and sharing is a very hard thing, but it's, you know, on one level to not learn those skills, those values that make you valuable in an environment to someone else, right? Giving, kindness, interacting with people in the right ways, not thinking you're a king, that's just kind of towering above everyone, etc., which again, the AI can make a problem for someone growing up. You think about it in terms of like an AI actually having more power than a parent over the child's life. And this may not seem like this is real, but if you just think about it like the education system and going to a robot to teach you something that they choose to teach the kids, and then coming home and then having all of these appliances 24/7 with AI assistants, your computer, your toaster, your literal robots that are helping the kids make life easier for them, much like the iPad does, again, throwing the iPad at the baby, toddler, whatever, and throwing a piece of cheese on its face, right? For IG. Sorry, check that out. Anyway, yeah, crazy internet, right? But it's these kinds of things. Just think about a robot throwing a piece of cheese on a baby's face, like, it likes it. Anyway, my bad. I have shock humor. It's really bad. Okay, so it's important to understand because you have to distinguish these kinds of bad values that you can teach a baby during sensitive periods of their life. And 2-year-old is very sensitive, right? Those first 10 years are huge in terms of what they learn and how they become as kids. So if you have that kind of, I guess, like prince-like level of giving into its needs and wants, etc., without restriction, because that is the robot's or the AI's point of view, etc., it can lead to all kinds of problems in the future. It can lead to literal education systems that collapse because all of the children are just so for themselves and so individualized that it just doesn't work for the structure now. You think about it like when people stopped hitting kids, for example, which again is probably a good thing. However, you go on the levels of like participation trophies, which are the same as the like first place, second place, third place trophies, and then it kind of becomes a problem. Now, you guys can comment on this. I don't have perspective of having children, but I see how it kind of affects, in terms of psychology, the child going forward, where they kind of just feel like they're enough and they don't go to achieve anything greater because it's like, I got the participation trophy and, you know, I feel special and everything. But then they just become another node, another player in the, I guess, the game that's failing right now in the job system, the job industries, etc. Right? They don't go for anything bigger, or they don't follow their dreams, etc. because it's like, I achieved what I needed to achieve and I got this out of it. And it's almost like false encouragement that doesn't actually help. Sometimes you need a bit of hard, tough luck. And like, I'll just say like how I grew up. I grew up being smacked a lot, right? Smacked a lot. And I also grew up being very good in athletics, but I struggled a lot in school with everything except for English, right? So that was how it was for me. And you need that kind of balancing thing, right? That weight scale kind of thing to even things out. But if the child doesn't have that, because everything is dictated by like, you're winning, you're getting what you want, you get what you want, you always get what you want, then it's going to be a very different life, right? Especially in terms of like the dopamine receptors that they have and serotonin, etc. They are going to be absolutely fried, and you're going to have babies that are just like, and they're not able to talk. And you guys can look that up. Actually, that's a real problem now, because they have access to these like iPads, etc., and they're just staring at them for like hours. And then suddenly your baby can't talk. And it's like, your developmental age, the baby's supposed to be talking at this stage and it's not. And then the parents start to freak out, right? So this is so much worse when it comes to having AI around you, etc. If they don't understand what the developmental levels of what a baby needs, etc., going all the way through your life and just making those mistakes. You think that they're small things, but they're not. They actually destroy people for a lifetime. This kind of thing destroys people for a lifetime, especially if you get this wrong. And I've seen countless examples of this going forward during these past few like 20 or so years. When it comes to babies, I've checked in on this in terms of human development, etc., and it is destructive. It's absolutely destructive. So think about an iPad on steroids, pretty much. And that's what you got as a problem for the new generations going forward. So that is something for your parents out there. You parents out there to kind of look at it, look into it. Seriously, don't take my word for it. I'm just some guy on the internet, right? With a background in psychology, etc. But look into it. This stuff destroys people. They really do. And they make them like not capable of socially interacting normally, or even living a normal life that's not secluded from everyone else. So it's these kinds of problems. Remember what I said in terms of being taken care of on a level where it's like you're not self-sufficient, but you have what you need around you because everyone else is like meeting your needs. Like I said, much like a prince or a princess or a king or a queen, etc. But it's all in your household. So why would you need to go outside for anything if everything is available inside for you and it's being taken care of 24/7 for you? It's making your bed, it's doing your breakfast, it's even brushing your teeth if you're that lazy. Right? So it's these kinds of problems that I fear in terms of human development, etc., going towards the future. And it's something that I looked at with a lot of people, and just, you know, on the human level and interaction during the past 5 years of like COVID, there have been a lot of people, not just the decline of population, but a lot of people talking about the fact that they don't want to bring a baby. It would be wrong to bring up a child in an environment like this. And they weren't just talking about COVID, they were talking about where things are going in the future. And like I said, this is the negative side of what can happen when it comes to having types of help or assistance on the level that is far beyond human for us, that takes care of all of those like petty, so to speak, things that we take for granted, like making our bed, brushing our teeth, etc.